Good morning, pregame crew. It is Friday, October 14th, 2022, 8:22 a.m. Eastern, 6:22 a.m. Mountain Time. Welcome to the pregame show. This is where I go over the indices, commodities, crypto movers, and shakers of the day. I'll officially get started in 8 minutes. If you want to fast forward till this says 6:30 down here in the far right corner, that's where I'll officially get started with the indices. May start 1 minute early, may start 3 minutes late, but in that general vicinity. Between now and then, I'm going to say hello to my friends and do an audio-visual check and a couple charts. Hey, Night Truck, how are you, friend? Hey, Greg, Andre, Alnick, Whitney. Mila, happy Friday to you. Hey, Casey. Hey, Jonathan. Absolutely anything for you, Jonathan. Hey, Carlos, Kay, Mal, ER, Amir, Sam, Mary, Matthew, New Hampshire. Oh, it must be so beautiful with the leaves. Thanks, Night Truck. Hey, Julius, Ross, Trader Satoshi, Crypto, Mary. Good morning. Let's go look at Matic for my friend Jonathan. I don't know if I'm ever going to get used to this ergonomic keyboard. I love it. My fingers love it as far as the positioning in my hands and shoulders. But man, it's just so hard to get used to. All right, Matic. Any chance quick? 4-hour consolidation, 15-minute oversold. Yeah, we got a ways to go, my friend, on the 15-minute oversold. You're looking down at 7932. So let's look at that. Well, that makes sense, okay? So you don't want it to go below 78 cents because if it goes below 78 cents, then you have a higher probability of an EQ. Well, your first 15-minute oversold is at 79 cents, 0.7933. So that still keeps it above that 0.382. I hope my logic is making sense to ya. I don't see any signs of consolidation. Look how healthy this pullback is. If you want to look for signs of a healthy pullback, watch that volume. Watch how slow it is. You want tempo. Tempo matters. We don't talk about tempo enough. The tempo of the buying or the selling, retracement, slow moves up, fast moves up. Tempo tells us a whole lot. And this tempo, it is overnight action. So I have to, preface it by saying I don't know that we can glean a ton of information from the pace of this retracement because it was overnight. However, I would say this is slow and controlled, and it keeps the hope alive for a bull flag on a higher time frame. Very healthy. Very, very healthy. So this was at 1 a.m. yesterday, and we were having elevated volume. So elevated volume, of course, is still possible overnight, and we're just not seeing that, Jonathan. An aggressive bull could look to bottom fish this 0.8043. A conservative bull is waiting for at least a 5-minute oversold. You may not get a 15-minute oversold, Jonathan. Hello. Let me go back up. Morning. Riot sure can. Riot and Mara threw me off this morning, ER. Hey, Ludovic. Mike. Amen, Darwood. I know, Alnick, I just got to give myself time. We have some FOMO spray left, Step. How are you? Hey, YILIN. Good morning. Okay, let me go back up. Riot. Riot had a 4% bounce. It's a laggard to MARA. MARA had almost an 8% bounce. So Riot may still have some juice. Bitcoin bounced 10% from the low of yesterday to the high of the bounce, 10%. So Riot is definitely lagging Bitcoin. So we just have a major triple top in this area. Look here, 644, 645, 643, 644, 645. We just have it. This is a hard shelf that bears are protecting. If we could get a pop over 645, we could get some follow through. I would look for first 5-minute oversold to buy as a conservative bull. An aggressive bull is just looking for a pullback to this intraday. So I would say 627. You don't want to go below 627 to keep this consolidation healthy. Buongiorno, Intuitive. You did, Assad. I'm sorry that you got burnt. Yes, those decimal numbers are Fibonacci series. JPM had a nice beat. Gosh, to be Jamie Dimon and his smart brain. Smart man. I love listening to him talk. If you got burned yesterday, I would definitely sit out today because it could cloud your thinking. Yesterday was an anomaly day. We've only had 4 of those. Prior to yesterday, we only had 4 days like that where we dropped 2% in pre-market and we recovered the full 2% plus some in intraday trading. It's only happened 4 times in the market's history. So if you think that everyone should have been all over that yesterday and buying the dip, there were no signals as far as pre-market to buy that dip. Well, there were some minor signals, but I wouldn't say anything convincing. Bulls have been sus for weeks. They haven't been able to sustain any bounce. So the fact that you don't think that you should have been able to predict that. I wouldn't say yesterday was a typical day. The main thing is when you start shorting and it's just, you can tell this a short covering rally, is just back away. Once you get burned, say, okay, maybe I'm not reading this right. A loss doesn't always mean you're not reading it right. Sometimes it's just the trade doesn't work. But when you get a couple losses in a row, then you're not in tune with the market on the same instrument. It's time to back away. You're welcome. Hey, Jason Swango. Thank you for your nice comments. Hey, Miguel. Jason, I do this Monday through Friday. Every day the stock market's open, we are live. I go through 25 charts in 25 minutes. I try to make it as efficient as possible. I'll get started here in 1 minute. And my goal is to go over the game plan for the day. So what I'm looking at is what action happened overnight, gathering all those puzzle pieces together and formulate a game plan for the day. So thank you for being here. Hey, Lisa. It was kind of a mixed bag as to what happened the next few days after those other 4 times. It's a great question. Someone asked that yesterday, and it was kind of a mixed bag. And I'll kind of break it down for you. And I'm going to share my notes with you today, just because it's freaking Friday. And we're all in a PPI hangover. Let's admit it. We're in a hangover. Yesterday was wild. This is who I am. I'm Chart Gal Lori, and you are at the pregame show. I'm part of the Chart Guys community, and we teach technical analysis. We have a community of almost 1,100 of my closest friends, and we hang out in a Slack chat, and we share setups, left, right, center. Left, right, center, that's a great game. We share setups. We have a marijuana channel, commodities, crypto, uranium, whatever your interest is, futures. We have a channel and a community for that. All right. So I get started every morning. I type these notes for a few hours before the show starts. I look at international markets, indices, commodities, crypto, movers and shakers of the day. When I'm done, I copy and paste this for TCG members so they can slice and dice it as they see fit. If you're interested in my chart setup, you can click on the link below in the video description to receive a PDF explanation as to what my chart setup is. All right, and now we do have a little bit of lingo, and I have some wonderful friends in the chat room. It's hard for me to monitor the chat room, but if you have questions as to what some of the lingo is, just ask in the YouTube chat, and someone very helpful will be able to help you and piece it together. We just had news. So we had, and if you're a member of the community, you know what happened because this is what our whiteboard looks like. So Denzi put together the whiteboard this morning. We just had retail sales at 8:30. Import and export prices, business inventories and consumer sentiment is at 10 a.m., 30 minutes after we open. And then we have some Fed speakers today. And we have Fed speakers almost every day, and that's why we can't have anything nice. Kidding. But they can and sometimes cause volatility when they speak if they get overly hawkish. So we just had retail sales. We recovered very quickly. It seems like it was a nothing burger after it was digested. Remember, when this data comes out, we have algos that react quickly. They look for keywords and they react quickly. And then real people start digesting the information, say, is this bad or is this good? All right. So yesterday, this is what it looked like out there. So the bright green is 3% plus. Look at the board. We were bright green. Doesn't Amazon just stand out as just our big monster that couldn't go green yesterday? Definite relative weakness in Amazon. But when you have all horses pulling the cart in the same direction, in this case bullish, it's hard, really hard to get in front of that as a bear. Let's look at SPY. Do y'all see that? Do y'all see this volume? Right here where my arrow is shaking. We had 147 million, I don't want to say shares because it's an ETF. ETF shares, 147 million. An average for the past 10 days has been 101 million. That's not Sally, Susie, Johnny, Nancy buying. That's institutions, and you could see it in the dark pool. There was short covering, and then there was FOMO that kicked in, and institutions started putting money to work yesterday. So this was a huge short covering rally. And the volume put an exclamation point on it. We know in a bull market, bears have to bring the volume to prove it. We know in a bear market, bulls have to bring the volume to prove it. And man, did they prove it yesterday. And I got a lot of pushback after the show yesterday saying, oh, you were talking about limit down. Guys, if you think I am going to be 100% correct, you're at the wrong show. I am giving you the more likely scenarios. Yesterday's dip buy and extreme rally was not one of the more likely scenarios. I did point out divergences. We saw the divergences yesterday. Did I type that out? Yeah, the clues were, I typed it during the show. Bonds had a double bottom, dollar had a double top, Bitcoin had early weakness and was holding key support the time we looked at it. YM was holding key support. RTY broke it by a few dollars. VIX had no reaction, and that was the real telltale sign for me that I could have acted on a little bit better. ES not breaking 3,500, it made those bears a bit sus. Now, again, I'm not saying I had strong conviction about it, not at all. However, I did notice that some things were not adding up, and I hope it helped you yesterday in your trading. Let me delete that. I want you to just focus. This is one of my favorite pictures. Winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. This guy lost by like a fraction of a second. Was this the 2018 Olympics? He lost by a fraction. Well, it couldn't have been 2018 because this is 2017, maybe 2016. I don't remember. But this guy just barely lost, and he was watching Phelps. Winners focus on winning. So I don't want you to focus on, well, this trader made so much more money yesterday and I didn't, or Lori made a mistake. She didn't tell me exactly what was going to happen yesterday. No, just keep focusing on winning. Focus on winning. I forgot to say, hey, give me a follow on Twitter at ChartGalLori. So just stay focused on the positive. Yesterday was a hard read. So overnight, Hang Seng was up 1.21%. I would say that's still somewhat lethargic considering the day we had. And since their Monday holiday last week, I'm still seeing Hang Seng follow the leader. They're following our moves. They're lagging versus leading. And DAX, last time I looked, was up 0.76%. We're going to monitor back burner success today. And then these intraday, it's up here. All right, so monitoring back burner success today, that's going to be really important. If you watch Dan's market recap video, he went over that in detail. Okay, watch the intraday pullback levels from yesterday. It's key to hold. And then we're going to watch the 0.382 retrace. So the 0.382, let's just call it a third. I know it's not exactly a third, but just for simplicity's sake, we want to see the retrace today hold at least a third of the pull, and that way we have pullback, we have bull flag potential, and those pullbacks don't get too deep. So here's 3 things we're monitoring today to see, are we going to be able to maintain this uptrend, or did the short covering rally weaken the market? Short covering rallies can weaken the market because we're not establishing structure. We didn't establish a lot of structure yesterday. This is just straight up. We're not building that scaffolding that we like to see in real construction, where first floor, second floor, third floor, and you come back and you find nice support. You're just wiping out that order book. So if SPY were to come back down with any uptick in bear volume, it could cut through these levels yesterday. It could cut through it like hot knife through butter. So that's one concerning element, is we did not build structure. And if you look at the volume profile, you want to see nice, healthy volume supporting price. So when you come back to it, you say, okay, there's liquidity there. People said that's a great area. I think it's great value, so I'm going to buy it. We didn't establish those value areas yesterday. We just ripped. So we used up a lot of buying power. Multiply 147 million times $365, and you'll figure out how many dollars were spent yesterday on SPY. Those dollars are now gone. So who's left to buy? We know, and we've heard there's lots of money on the sidelines. So I'm not saying that we're going to give back this rally, but I'm saying that we did weaken the market ever so slightly by using up all of those dollars and not building structure. All right. Let's see. Yesterday's price action only happened 4 times in market's history. Yesterday was the 5th time. And dollar is complicating matters here. I am watching the dollar on the 4-hour. So dollar popped and then pulled back. And then when it pulled back, we have had a great bounce on the dollar. That's a headwind for equities. This is my little wild card for the day, is the dollar. Now that we've made enough room for a 4-hour higher low, what happens to equities when that higher low is set? All right. The short covering started yesterday when 3500 held. Oh, Paul, sorry, sus. I have some young adult and teenage children, so they say sus a lot, and it just kind of gets into your vocabulary. All right, bonds yesterday was a beautiful clue. Beautiful. We've made enough room for a 4-hour higher low. However, we don't want to see this double top hold at 12528, 12527. We're getting these tiny higher highs without a ton of follow through, and we want to see this double top break to the bull side. We typically need bonds to go in the same direction as the market in order to get follow through. And for people who are looking for ES bull continuation today, they want bonds to break through this double top. Hey, Maddie. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it. Hey, Ross. All right. Let me go to my ES notes. My notes were a little abbreviated compared to what I normally do. Okay, 3660, last night's overnight low, and 3634 are key levels for day, along with how bulls respond to first 5-minute oversold. Do they buy feverishly or do they step away from the bid? So here's how I got the 3634. That's the low of the reaction, and the high of the reaction, 3634. It becomes a key level. But if you are a bull and you want some continuation quickly, you want to see 366025. Hold. So the intraday, now that's in the wrong spot, but you get the picture. So here, intraday, 366225 was the lowest pullback intraday yesterday. Well, overnight, we broke it by $2. I would still call that a double bottom. This is key. If we hold 3660 on any back test and we hold it, that means the bulls are large and in charge. All right. Then I'm going to say bulls have, I'm trying to think of an objective way to express it. But 3660 holding would be a big, they would put 3 exclamation points on their bull control if they hold that. If 3634 holds a bull flag, I would say it's 2 exclamation points. All right, I hope I'm explaining myself. It makes complete sense to me, but that doesn't mean it's going to make sense to you. And then if we pull back to 3608, then the bears have we're going back into that area of no structure, and you've opened the doors super wide for the bears to come back in. All right, so let's break it down. 3660 hold, huge bull domination. 3634 holds, bulls are in control, and bears are looking for a potential top fish on the next bounce. If we pull back to 3600, bulls have opened the door for the bears to step back in. All right. Hey. Thank you, intuitive guy. All right, so that was ES. Now, I know I spent a lot of time. We've been talking for 20 minutes, and I've only gotten through one chart, and I promise you 25 in 25 minutes. So I'm going to go faster now, but it's important. The indices set the stage for everything else. I guess I went through the dollar and bonds, so I've gone through 3 charts. But now what I said for ES applies to all of the Fab 4 futures, okay? Intraday pullback. Let's go to the list. We'll be monitoring the back burner. So first 5-minute oversold, what does the buying look like? We're going to watch those intraday levels, and then we're going to watch the 0.382 retrace. Anything beyond 0.382, bears, start sharpening your claws. All right, now Nasdaq, let's go through that same exercise, but faster now. And if yesterday was your first time to ever join the show, I am so sorry. That was such a chaotic show. But on days when we have big economic data, I prep for 3 hours and then it just all goes out the window while I wait for the reaction. And then I have to react real time and walk you through my thinking. And remember, I have to speak what I'm thinking. It's tough. If you're constantly just synthesizing data and thin slicing data without having to say it out loud, sometimes it's like, have you ever tried to write down how to tie your shoe? You just do it. It's just instinct. You just do it. Well, a lot of the data that I'm synthesizing, it's just instinct at this point. And having to stop and just walk you through it is not always as logical as I'd like, but it's because I'm not used to having to articulate what I'm thinking every single day with a reaction. It's tough. And you know, if you've been here over a year, you've seen me progress. I think I'm getting better, and I'll just keep getting better. And yesterday will go down in history books. I won't forget it. That's for sure. All right, back to Nasdaq. 10917. 10917 keeps a bull flag alive. Intraday level, we gave up a little bit more over here. 11,021.75 was intraday low, and overnight we hit 10,988. So now that becomes the level to hold. 10,988 overnight low, and then 10,91750 keeps a bull flag alive. 10,835. David, I'm not even going to address your comment. Just shoe fly. So 10,835 is a 50% retrace, and that makes room for a lower high on a bounce, and bears sharpen their claws. RTY 1711 keeps a bull flag alive. 1698 is a 50% retrace, and that's where bears would step in again. And the third thing we're watching is first 5-minute oversold. Does that mark the hourly high or low? And do we have bull volume buying the dip? Hey, Julian, thank you. All right. $29697 keeps a bull flag alive on the 4-hour for YM. 29502 is too deep, and then bears could start looking for a pull. Excuse me, not that. Bears could look for a top fish if we retrace 50%, and 29946 keeps consolidation healthy. If we can get through, let me make that statement. If we can get through the high of overnight, that would be a huge, huge statement to the bears from the bulls. So getting over last night's high tells us the temporary bottom is in. Okay, so getting over last night's high tells the bulls and the bears that the temporary bottom is in. But rarely do we get meaningful lows or meaningful highs set in overnight hours. Does that make sense? So we set 3502 in pre-market action. Rarely do we see those lows hold or highs hold if it happens in after hours action. So that 35.02, it weakens it a little bit for me because of how it happened, but it's still a level nonetheless. We get over last night's high, then bulls have made a statement. And the temporary bottom is in my opinion. Okay, gave you that. Let's look at VIX. I love Maria Bartiromo. Love her. All right. Actually, I like Dagan the best. 34.53 was the high. It didn't make sense to us yesterday. It didn't add up, and it ended up being a great canary when we couldn't get over that daily high of 34.88 and pulled back. Now on the next bounce, we're looking for a 4-hour lower high on the next bounce compared to 34.53. The VIX continues to be weak, and it just shows fear exiting stage right, and that is a tailwind for market bulls. I need to go a little faster. Okay. Bitcoin had a 10% bounce yesterday. Hourly trend change. We need to get over the high of 19954. And I would say as close as it is to a psych level, bulls are going to want to see it get over 20K before you trust it. We were at 19954 overnight. You want to see it get through 20K. Beautiful move. And this could make Riot a good trade. Who asked me about that? Was it ER or Paul? Getting over 20K would be meaningful, and Riot could be a good laggard trade. Yeah, hit the like, people. Like button, please. Ethereum was stronger, and we're $4 from breaking bull. Ethereum bulls are going for it. 371338. Yeah, this is a major shelf right here. Let's call the shelf 1345, all right? 1345. So we gave the Bitcoin bulls a little bit more of a hurdle to jump through. So 20,000, and with Ethereum, I'm giving them a little bit more of a hurdle to jump through 1345 for it to be convincing. Sorry, I got a plane going overhead, and I have my window open, enjoying this 43-degree morning. All right, gold. Gold, potential hourly bear flag. The dollar is bouncing and it's hurting the metals. The metals bounced with us yesterday, but they're not continuing that strength and that correlation. They're losing it. On dollar strength, metals are weakening. Potential hourly bear flag, resistance 1677, support 1656. Dollar is sending mixed signals. And remember, when I give you these lists, I'm noting divergences. So I'm saying overall, yesterday morning, things looked pretty ominous, but here were all the divergences that I noted. So I'm noting the divergence for this morning, which I started out with, is the dollar. This dollar strength is not great for the markets. It doesn't make it easy. And we see that now with metals weakening. And I don't have a good read. I like to give you commodities trades when I see them. I enjoy trading nat gas and oil. I trade them a lot, but I don't see a clear setup in any of our three today. Oil, well, I guess we could look for hourly lower high on oil against 89.73. We have the Baker Hughes rig count today. I always forget the time, 12:30. I don't know. If you're trading oil, go look for it. Somehow my brain does not want to store that information. All right, so we're looking for an hourly lower high and a 4-hour lower high. It would be neat if we could top fish 89.73 for a potential 4-hour lower high, nailing that weekly lower high below the 50 MA. So I guess I do have a trade set up. I like oil short on a bounce. Nat gas, I don't know why I didn't see that clearly 3 hours ago, but I was half a cup of coffee in maybe. It did look megaphone. Bulls are looking for a 4-hour higher low on nat gas. I just don't like where nat gas is. To me, it's trapped right here at the 200 MA. I don't want to go short down here because we are looking for that monthly higher low. And I don't want to go long with the 200 MA problems. So no trade set up for me. Resistance 6742, 6777, support 658, and then all the way down at 6378. All right, Apple. I know. I do like an icy cold. It just gets me going in the morning to have that little cold, brisk air. All right, Apple. What did I say about Apple? Say anything good? Led the way for bulls yesterday. We'll monitor first 5-minute oversold bounce. This is the second most important chart for me. Dollars number 1, Apple's number 2, and ES is number 3. All right, so we're going to apply the same principles that we did to ES. 139.62 keeps a bull flag alive. Intraday pullback 140.90. The bulls can hold 140. Gosh, these are a lot of lines. I've got to delete all this. I can't do it. It's driving me bananas. Okay. If bulls want to show complete domination, go take out the high of yesterday with force at open. With force. What do we know to be true about Apple? It likes to break support and break resistance and then recoil. Is there any clear level over here? I'm just going to go with 144. If we get up to 144 and we can't get continuation, I would consider it a look above and fail and watch for a potential short on Apple and watch the volume. If bull volume's coming in, then abandon a short idea. So Apple, aggressive bull is looking to buy the dip against 140.90. A conservative bull is looking to buy the dip at 139.62, which keeps a bull flag alive. If we hit 138.39, an aggressive bear will be watching for a bounce from there to short. That was probably the best sentence I've said the whole show, right there. That was the most succinct I was at demonstrating what I'm looking for. And then, of course, first 5-minute oversold. Okay, Amazon's playing laggard now. We're getting over yesterday's high. I don't know what news they had, if any, that held them back yesterday, but they sure were a laggard. So we may have some laggard action out of Amazon. Maybe the bulls are waking up today and say, man, we missed out on this huge rally. Everybody had fun yesterday. Everybody got to go to the playground and we were in detention. So Amazon bulls coming out of detention this morning. Let's see if they can get some follow through. 111.25 is that key level from intraday pullback. Bulls are going to want to see hold. Okay, we're up here approaching the overnight high. If you just stop and look at yesterday's candles, they were massive. Massive. Then that is what you call a bullish engulfing candle. It is not confirmed. We're looking for confirmation today of more bull follow through, and then we could assume that the reversal is in. Today is really important. It's going to determine, do we get confirmation of all these bullish engulfing candles, and can we anticipate continuation? Okay, Amazon, we talked about laggard action. Nvidia, what a beautiful candle. Nvidia is getting over yesterday's high. First 5-minute oversold may be the first attempt that bulls get at taking a whack at this. And bears, I'd be really cautious unless you like pain. Resistance 12124. Just be very protective. Going counter trend right now. Tesla, I like Tesla bullish, dang it. It's already getting over yesterday's high. Your next resistance is a mess. Your next resistance 22475, then 22625, and your intraday support from yesterday pullback right here 21868. If Tesla or Apple lose that intraday pullback support, that would tell us a lot about the market. We're over the high of last night, y'all. We could have another trend bull day. Wow. Okay, Baba was a long for me today. It had laggard action yesterday. Again, Hang Seng is lagging the U.S. market, so I like Baba long, and I still like it long. If we could just get a pullback, let's say to 74.75, or first 5-minute oversold, I like Baba for a long. Looking at that Hang Seng relationship, laggard action to the U.S. market that we've been observing for 2 weeks. Beyond, okay, they're popping. They had some really bad news this morning. And you can't always trade the news. You have to watch price action. They had really bad news. When you start guiding down, they fired a bunch of executives. They are laying off 20% of their workforce. They had just like sprinkled good news in there, I believe, but most of it was bad news. But this is my laggard. This is my bear play for the day. If the market were to see consolidation, I would look to beyond to short. And by the way, I haven't changed my tickers up here, so don't read into whatever I have up here. It's probably the last person that asked me for a chart for me to evaluate. That's why they're up there. Okay, Netflix, I like it long. Shoot, it's going to. So Netflix not only bounced yesterday, it had news yesterday, a new subscription package or whatever. Netflix first 5-minute oversold is going to be a doozy. So I just have to wait for that 5-minute oversold now. I got a piece of the action yesterday, but not a lot. Like I could probably go eat at Applebee's on what I got on Netflix. Okay. Tell me when. And I'm looking for front running. With this type of strength in the market, I'm not expecting us to get to full 30 RSI on the 5-minute oversold with this type of strength. NTNX, I think ninjas can watch this for scalping. It has chatter, takeover chatter. Neo. That wasn't a name of mine. I just didn't move it. When was the next name? I remember looking at Neo and not seeing a setup. I get asked often, because I don't always talk about it, how do I use the squeeze? I had another chart I was going to show you. When you have these tightening patterns, you don't always have compression building, pressure building. When obviously has pressure building. It was red yesterday. I don't know what's been hitting these casinos, but daily's not oversold. Dang it. It just had this tight pattern that I liked. It's really super clear. A bottom fish at 56.97 is what I'd be looking for a potential long on win. All right. Takeover chatter means that someone is looking to buy them, acquire them. All right. Oh, good, ER. It was you, Brian. Hey, Tommy, thanks. Y'all have a great weekend, a wonderful day. It's 7 o'clock. I'm going to go join my friends in Lamont over in our chat room and get ready for the trading day. All right, y'all use stop losses. Oh, and hit that like button. My goodness.